Hello, good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, depending where you're dialing in from. My name is Marcus, one of the customer success managers here at Sendible. And today we're going to explore the topic of how to use URLs and link previews in our post. So we'll be exploring different platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and the different options available for you when adding links to your post. I'll be joined later in the session by my colleague Sarah. She's going to dive in a little bit more on the sort of technical aspects, what to look out for in sort of your code, and how to sort of maybe troubleshoot any issues with regards to link previews. So a bit of housekeeping for those that have been here before. You know, we have a chat tab sort of located in the bottom right hand side, and next to the chat tab we'll have a questions tab as well. So if everyone would like to sort of jump in, say hello to each other. And we also start each session with an icebreaker. Okay, so I want your answers in the chat if possible. And today's icebreaker is, what's your star sign and what's your most favorite quality of that star sign? So to get people started, I am a Virgo, and my favorite quality of being a Virgo is how sort of practical we are. Oh, I think I'm back. How practical and logical we are is one of Can everybody hear me now? Apparently my audio went. Hopefully I'm back. Excellent. Did everyone hear the icebreaker? I think some people did, but your star signs, I see some Virgos in the chat, so happy to have you here. Yeah, so your star sign and your favorite quality. And if my audio cuts out again, please nudge me in the chat and I will definitely jump back onto the right channel. Okay, so link previews. As mentioned before, you can use URLs across multiple platforms. So I have open on my tabs here, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, and we're going to cover how we can use URLs across those platforms. So when I open my compose box, I have pinned some profiles. So I already have my Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter profiles selected by utilizing the pin function here for anyone that hasn't seen that before. And now I'm going to start to create some content for my Point MMA brands. So we're going to share some exciting MMA news, and we're going to share a link to advertise. So we have a brand new UFC poster that we want to advertise to people, and that information is hosted on this URL. So I've just simply included that URL into my post, and it has created automatically a link preview based on some of the metadata that is behind in this URL. And Sarah will explain more what that means when she jumps on in a few moments. Okay, so I can simply go ahead and publish or schedule this content, and this would produce a link preview as shown when previewing my posts across those networks that I've selected. Okay, so that's quite easy. We can go ahead and publish this content, and each network would receive that content with its own version of its link preview card. So while that's publishing, let's open the compose box again and take a look at some other things we can do when adding a link to our content. So let me find something else to share. This time, I know we're still in the MMA world, but we'll share some social media news. Okay, so we can now have some social media strategy news and include our link here. So once again, we have our link preview based on the URL that we've created. Okay, but next time we post, I actually want to go and make some changes. So let's park example 2 for a second and go back to example 1 and see what those link previews have looked like for Point MMA. So let's start with Facebook, and I will have to refresh each of my tabs here. So bear with me. But we can see we've got my new UFC poster, and it's pulled through exactly as it did in the preview. So we have our image, and if I click post, that will open that link in a new tab. Okay, so that's the expected behavior, really. Twitter will be the same. We have our content. It's removed the URL from the copy and just created a nice Twitter card that behaves accordingly. And the same for LinkedIn. Well, let's prove it first. Okay, so then we have our LinkedIn, have the link here, but also as a card as well. Okay, so that's fantastic, and that's working as expected. So let's go back to our example 2, where we have our post now going to a different URL. And now I'm going to explore some changes across these different tabs. So the first in Twitter, as you can see, we do have the option to remove the link preview or to replace this link preview with an image. So let's take that option. So in Twitter, I'd no longer want a card. Okay, I'm going to replace this card with an actual image. Okay, now I can take an image from the website that I've just used. So there's the one that was shown in the preview, plus many, many more. Or I could replace it with an image using a different mechanism. I'll go ahead and use that image, and we've now updated that for Twitter. And we can do that approach for the rest as well. So with Facebook, we can replace with an image. And we'll do the same example for LinkedIn. So we no longer have a card now. We now have our copy and an image. So this will no longer be clickable once we've published, but the URL will remain in your post, so your audience can still get to that destination. Okay, so we've created different variations because we've made edits in each tab. So now we can rest and publish these to our Point MMA handles. Now remember, if you have any questions on anything we've discussed in today, we do have a questions tab just next to the chat tab. So feel free to get your questions in. Sarah will also help us answer those questions during this call. Okay, so another example I'm going to do, let's just quickly go and view these posts. So once again, we'll just have to refresh each of our tabs here. And now you should be able to see that we have our content with the link to where we want to go. So this should take us to the one of our recent Sendible blogs. There we are. Okay, and it's now added this as a photo to my albums as well. You can see Twitter has done the same. We no longer have that link preview information. We just have an image that when I click the image, it will open and expand in full, but the URL is still present. Same with LinkedIn. All right, so the third example, going back to our post here, let's refresh our calendar. So posting again to our 3 networks, and we can get back into our MMA news. And I'll just find an article to share. And what I'm going to do in this example, while it loads in, is I'm actually going to make changes to my link preview. I'm actually going to go into the Facebook and LinkedIn tabs and edit the content that we're seeing inside of that link preview. If I can get my link to load for me. Okay. I think my mic has gone. Am I back? Is my mic back, everyone? Should be back. Please let me know. Yes, we can hear you. Okay, sorry about that. I think my laptop struggled just a little bit, but I'm back and I've added a URL here. And just if you didn't hear me before, for my third example, we're now going to make edits to the content that we're seeing inside of the link preview. Now, Twitter won't allow us to make edits to the link preview. You saw we were able to replace it with an image. However, Facebook and LinkedIn will allow you to edit the thumbnail image and also the headline as well. So let's take a look. In Facebook, now you have to take this action within Facebook and the LinkedIn tabs. You will not be able to edit the link preview while in the original tab here. Those will not highlight. But in Facebook, you can go in and you can change the headline and the link description. If there is more than one image that we are able to reference from the URL, you can navigate and select different images that you would find on that web page. Okay, so, and the same applies to LinkedIn. Now, Sarah will talk about this a little bit more, but on Facebook, you can only edit these fields if it's a verified domain in your Facebook's Meta Business Manager. And Sarah knows much more about that than I do, so stay tuned. However, in LinkedIn, you do have the ability to update this how you feel fit, and those changes would be reflected. So if I wanted to shorten it, maybe remove my description here, then I can do so. So we can now publish this content with a different link preview, basically for LinkedIn. I do not have this domain verified on Facebook. So even if I do make changes, unless this is a verified post, this would not take effect. So please bear this message in mind. And once again, Sarah will walk you through on how to verify your domains. Okay, while that's publishing, please let me know if I've got any more audio issues. Hopefully things are settled down now, and I will maybe one by one refresh my tabs this time. So you can see Facebook has kept the full version of that post. It didn't accept my changes. Whereas as you'll see on LinkedIn, it would have accepted the shorter headline and the removal of the link preview text. Okay, awesome. So those are the sort of main options you can do when adding links to your compose box. Now, if you're adding multiple URLs, we will take into account the first URL that was added. That's what we're going to build the link preview on. Okay, Sarah, please feel free to join me. And as I said, we will then sort of go through the settings on a profile level, some ways you can validate your link previews, and some more options. So I'll stop sharing. And Sarah, how are you doing? Thanks for joining.
I'm good. How are you doing? How is everyone actually doing today?
I'm good. I hope my connection issues wasn't too bad.
No,
Hopefully, I was
it
only
was.
muted for a second or two.
Yeah, don't worry. It's just a few seconds.
Awesome,
Uh,
awesome. Thank you.
Okay, hello everyone. Firstly, thank you so much, Marcus, for that great walkthrough. That was super awesome. So, let me start by sharing my screen. Awesome. Okay, so with that being said, I just wanted to reiterate what Marcus said about having to verify your domain on Facebook so that you can edit your images for your link previews. So what you want to do is you want to come over to business.facebook.com settings. So either, now it's known as Meta Business Settings, but before, if you're old school, it was known as Facebook Business Settings. So what you want to do is you just want to click onto the brand safety section over here and then click onto the domain section. So as you can see over here, I have added my domain, but of course it's not verified as yet. So just to show you in this section on the add button over here, you have two options. You can decide whether you want to request access to a domain. So let's say one of your team members have already gone ahead and verified the access to the domain, you will come over here and you'll request access. The other option is for you to create a new domain. So you can click on here and you can enter the domain that you'd like to verify. And of course, if it's not verified, it will look like this. But let's say the domain was verified. What would happen is you'd have this section. So it will show you what's verified or what's not verified. And then you have the ability to add a connected asset. So you need to ensure that you add a connected asset. So what that means is you will add the Facebook page that you use for that particular domain, and you'll just connect it over here. And once you do that, you'll be able to easily change the images for your link preview. So with that being said, I wanted to also walk through the different image inspectors or URL inspectors that these social sites have. So if we look at Facebook, for example, they have a sharing debugger. So it's you can just search like Facebook sharing debugger. So if you're concerned like, hey, how is my URL going to appear or my link preview going to appear prior to it going live, then what you can do is you can just come in over here and put in the URL and click onto debug. And over here, Facebook will show you the link preview. So you'll know, hey, this is how it's going to look. And the same applies with LinkedIn. So LinkedIn has a post inspector. LinkedIn post inspector, you can just search that. Over here, you can just place the URL that you're wanting to inspect, click on to inspect, and it will show you how it will appear once it hits LinkedIn. Then there's one for Twitter too. However, recently Twitter has removed their Twitter card validator, but we found a workaround, which is called tweetpeak.com Twitter card validator, and it essentially does the same thing that the previous Twitter card validator used to do. So just to show you, if I have a Twitter image on my website and I click onto the check preview section over here, you'll be able to see the Twitter image that will pull through. But let's say, for example, I don't have an image. What happens? Well, I don't have a Twitter image added to my website. Will get a blank screen like this. So just to show you, what you want to do is you just want to head over to the page in question. So you put in the URL over here, and all you want to do is just right click on your screen, click onto the view page source option over here, choose control find, and then search Twitter image. So in this example over here, you can see that this page for Sendible.com does not have a Twitter image. So therefore, when viewing it on the Twitter card validator, no image is pulled through. However, if it had a Twitter image, this is how it'll look. So this page, the Sendible.com page over here, Click on to view page source, control find. So here you can see 2 results are returned. And here you can see that's the particular image that will appear that you've seen in the Twitter card validator. So let's say you run into this issue. What you want to do is you want to ask your developer to go ahead and add that Twitter image. Or if you have control of the website, let's say it's a WordPress website, you can go in over there and add the Twitter image that you'd like to appear. Then this brings me into the Twitter setup on Sendible. So sometimes we get customer requests whereby they say, hey, I'm putting in a link preview, but the link preview is not clickable. Why is this happening? So the reason why this is happening is due to your settings on your Twitter profile itself. So just to show you, what you want to do is you want to come over to profile, to my profile section, and select your Twitter profile. If you click onto the edit section over here, you will see that you have some options. This one over here says how link preview should be posted. So the one that you want to choose is ignore images. If you choose ignore images, that will be your clickable URL. But if you click post with images, that will be, it won't be a clickable image. So essentially it'll be like a static image that will become enlarged and the URL will be separated. So just to show you what I mean, let's head over to Twitter. So when my settings are set to ignore images, we just click on over here. Here you can see that it's now a clickable image and it takes me to the website. Over here, if I had a post with images set up, it separates the URL like this. And if I click onto the image, it becomes enlarged. Then that brings me into sometimes we get customers that say like, hey, I'm using the compose box and the image is not pulling through. Why is this happening? So usually this can happen because either you have hotlink protection on your website, or you could have a Cloudflare installed or something similar, and it prevents the image from pulling into Sendible's compose box, and it looks this way. But not to worry, it doesn't mean that your image is going to appear this way when it lands onto the social site. And for you to double check that, all you need to do is use the post inspector that I showed you earlier for LinkedIn, or the sharing debugger for Facebook, or the tweetpeep.com Twitter card validator. And that way you'll know that your image is going to appear as intended. Yeah, so that's everything from me. And I don't see that, well, there were no other questions, I think. Yeah, unless you want to add something, Marcus.
No, thank you, Sarah. That's some good examples. Once again, just to go over what we spoke about in a little bit more of a technical sense. So thank you so much for sharing. I don't see any questions in the questions tab or in the chat. So hopefully the audience found it useful. And we can hang on for another minute or two, just in case there are some people that do have any questions. Whilst we are waiting, just to let you know, next week we are running a session, a more general training session. So please come armed with questions where you can ask kind of what you like, as it's more of a open session. So looking forward to that. That will be hosted by our lovely colleague Heather. And same time next week. I do see something in the chat here, Sarah. Let's have a look. Oh, no, Liz, thank you very much. Always great having you. So I appreciate. All right, guys, you get 5 minutes back on your Thursday. So I hope you use it wisely. And thank you to all the Virgos and everyone else in the chat as well. Glad to know that we are not alone. So thank you. Have a great day. And we speak to you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Sarah. Bye, everyone.